We live in an era of just absolute digital overload. We're constantly bombarded with information. But today, on The Explainer, we're going to do something profoundly different. We are actually going to slow down. We're going on a meditative, deeply philosophical journey into what might just be the ultimate minimalist digital artifact. We are going to examine a piece of source material so stripped back, so completely bare, that its power literally lies entirely in what it doesn't say. So get ready, because we're about to look straight into the infinite void.
Okay, let's dive right into this. I just want you to take a second and let the sheer, striking emptiness of this raw source material wash over you. That's it. It's just a symbol and two words. Prussia, new note. There's no sprawling exposition here, no dense paragraphs you have to untangle. It is entirely stark. But hey, don't let its brevity fool you for a second. This tiny string of characters is like a heavily loaded spring of potential. And to truly understand its gravity, we really have to unpack its architecture.
Section 1. The Markdown Mystery. A look into deep nested hierarchy. Now, what's really interesting about this is those 5 distinct hashtags. In the universal digital language of Markdown, hashtags aren't just, casual social media tags. They are the literal scaffolding of a thought. A single hashtag is an H1, a massive, overarching main title. 2 hashtags, that's an H2, a major section. By the time you get all the way down to 5 hashtags, an H5 header, you are signifying deep, deep architectural nesting. You are incredibly far down in the structural hierarchy of a document.
And this is where the mystery really takes hold. Ask yourself, why on earth is this buried 5 levels deep? If this is a new note, why isn't it just an H1? The very presence of an H5 logically demands the existence of unseen, unwritten layers above it. It's like an invisible cathedral of thought. There absolutely must be a title, a chapter, a section, and a subsection floating out there somewhere in the digital ether, completely invisible to us, serving as the massive foundation for this tiny, highly specific focal point.
And this brilliantly illustrates the immense tension going on here. On one hand, you have this heavy structural implication, the strict, rigid formatting of an H5 header practically demanding order and hierarchy. And then, on the other hand, there's the absolute echoing void of content that actually follows it. It is a highly engineered framework built to hold absolutely nothing. Or, well, actually scratch that. It's not nothing. It's built to hold something that simply hasn't arrived yet.
Section 2. Analyzing the word new, a micro-analysis of the text.
To understand what might be arriving, we have to look at the very first word, new. Now, it's a word we use dozens of times a day, but think about the incredible weight of the word new in a digital context. It represents untapped potential, absolute novelty, a completely fresh beginning. When you create something new in your digital workspace, it is a moment of pure neuroplasticity. It's the exact second before a single biased thought is typed, before a single error is made, before a single constraint is applied. It is the literal promise of infinite possibilities.
Section 3. The concept of note. Anchoring chaos.
Let's move to the next word and see how this builds, because infinite possibility is frankly kind of chaotic, right? It needs a tether. A note is a captured thought. It's a brief record. It is an observation intended to survive the fragility of human memory and be transmitted straight into the future. By placing the word note immediately after new, the source material attempts to anchor that wild, infinite potential into something tangible. It's a bold declaration of intent. The author is essentially saying, hey, I am about to capture something important. But here is the absolute paradox we have to wrestle with. What is actually being captured here? How do we reconcile the strict definition of a historical record, a note, with a piece of source material that is currently recording absolutely zero data? It's a container proudly announcing its purpose while being completely devoid of its cargo. It's wild.
Section 4. The unwritten future. Addressing the missing.
So the crucial point is this large, imposing number, 0. To fully grasp this artifact, we literally must address what is missing. Exactly 0 words follow the source title. Aside from the 5 hashtags and the 2 title words, there is nothing else. It is a profoundly sparse data point. In almost any other context, a 0 might indicate a failure, a deletion, or maybe a missing file. But in the context of this specific structural artifact, 0 isn't a failure at all. That complete lack of subsequent content is absolutely not an error. We have to totally reframe this silence. That empty space beneath the H5 header is the literal unwritten future. It is a blank canvas just waiting to be filled. The silence isn't dead, it's practically buzzing with anticipation.
It is the digital equivalent of taking a massive deep breath right before you start speaking.
So, let's look at the exact source material one last time. New note. After walking through this entire analysis, it really doesn't just look like an empty digital file anymore, does it? Reframed through our exploration of Markdown hierarchy, the massive weight of the word new, and the anchoring intent of a note, this simple string of characters completely transforms. It becomes a profound and complete statement of anticipation. It's an exquisitely prepared foundation, buried 5 layers deep in an invisible architecture, standing completely ready to catch a thought that hasn't even been born yet.
You know, we all have these blank spaces in our lives. Empty documents, fresh journals, new mornings. They're kind of intimidating, for sure, because they demand something from us. But they are also deeply empowering, because they are entirely unwritten. The framework is there, waiting for you. The ultimate question isn't why the note is empty. The real question is what you are going to do with it. So I leave you with this. When you stare down the blinking cursor of your own life's nested hierarchy, what will you create in the void?